welcome to our. Hey, I think it worked.
I think we're on.
Trying a new software, see if this will work. Seeing how this works. I'm not sure if I will like it, but we will do it and see. Now I can even do comments and I can highlight them. So that's kind of cool. I don't know. I'm testing out some new software. It should show our brackets a little bit better, but this is, I guess, Gorilla Radio number 192, 93. I don't know. What was it yesterday? It was one night. So this is 192. We're gonna talk some girls wrestling. I got Brandon Razo, not golfing today.
Nope, no golf today. It's a little cold.
It's a little cold. You guys just gotta use the bright yellow balls, and you guys can hit them in the holes.
Yeah, but when there's 6, 7, 8 inches of snow out there, it's kind of hard to find a ball.
Yeah, nice. I went to one of those. Have you seen the Pop Strokes golf courses?
Yep. A couple of years ago, we went to the one in Orlando.
Okay, as close. We were over in Daytona. Went to one. That's really cool. That was
that was fun. Those places are pretty neat.
Yeah, that's kind of that's real challenging too. Especially like it wasn't just a normal go through the windmill type golf course. That was pretty challenging, and there's some holes where it was not easy to get less than 5. So, it was a lot of fun. Just it's kind of a little bit more of a version of Top Golf, but for miniature golf, I guess.
Yeah, no, those places are pretty cool.
Yeah, that's. I was like, man, we need one of these in Fort Wayne, but it's also kind of hard to
have it during the winter.
Yes, very much.
They're only in warm places.
Yes, for a very good reason. But that's also why they can have a. Sorry, trying to get this link out there. That's why they have those in the. That's why they have Top Golfs in the warm or colder climates, so they can keep you warm there. So we're gonna talk girls brackets. How do you think the season went? First season. Any comments? Any complaints? I know we were talking about the alignment was very interesting. So I'm sure that will change throughout the first few years because it's gonna. The girls are going to continue to grow. So what do you think? How do you think the first year went?
I think the first year went great, considering how much it was growing within the past couple of years and more girls. I thought this first season went really well. You had all your regular tournaments of people that had been hosting them, and you had a lot of other schools try to do tournaments this year. But I think the participation this year was really good. I feel like there was more numbers than what the IHSAA thought there was going to be this year, which is why they had to kind of do the realignment halfway through the year when it came to sectionals and stuff like that. But I think right now, I think we're in a really good spot for Indiana with girls wrestling just kicking off.
Yeah, I think they did, as much as it pained me to say but when everyone was adding it and you're like, come on, Indiana, do that. And they didn't add it right away. I think they did do it the right way. And there are some speed bumps. There are some growing pains this year. But at the same time, if we'd have added it 3 or 4 years ago, I think there would have been a lot more issues.
Yeah, I don't think it would have had as good of a season as it was this year. Because even as we were working through, the system, the past few years and trying to run the tournament as coaches, there was a lot of bumps, and as it kept growing and trying to figure out, stuff with brackets and stuff like that, it was getting a little harder and harder. But we were working out the kinks and trying to make it work as best as we could with that stuff. And, before this year, being able to add that extra level to weed some of the girls out, it just made leading up to this year. It made the tournament better, made sure we had more of the better girls down there. And I think we're in we're at a good spot right now with where we're at and where this state is going to head. Especially with, I mean, we got a lot of good talent in this state, you know, especially just being our first year sanction. You know, we've had a lot of talent the past couple of years, and it's continuing to grow, and you can really see it too this year with this freshman class. You can tell it's girls that have already been kind of wrestling, and you're seeing it out there on the mats.
Yeah, that's a good thing, and it's going to continue to grow, especially with all the with the added exposure they're getting, and it's kind of neat to see the growth, and you're going to be able to see the growth of not only the numbers but the technique and stuff. I know just in the past few years, you can tell the girls are getting better at wrestling. The coaches are adjusting. There are some differences. There's some different styles that some moves that don't work as well against the girls that do for boys. So that's going to be some growing, some growing pains and some things people have to figure out, that girls are a little bit different and that you got to coach them differently. They are different. And so it's going to be interesting to see how things continue to evolve and kind of in front of our faces. And in 5 years and in 10 years, looking back and like, wow, it's so much different now. So I'm kind of excited. Do you get any kind of numbers of how many girls were wrestling this year, or?
No, I've never gotten a final number or anything from that.
I'd be curious how many compared to the previous years. And I know the previous years they allowed up to 2 in a weight class, and now it was straight like IHSA does, 1 per weight class. So there were quite a few girls.
I think last year they ended up just going 1 per weight class because they were really trying to tailor it to an actual IHSAA tournament.
Okay. Yeah. So that would, a lot of girls were left at home. I noticed there are a lot more duels this year, and I think that was good. We definitely need duels with teams with 10 to 12 girls in their lineups, because if they don't have 10 to 12 girls in their lineups, it's going to be kind of hard to, have a competitive duel, those kinds of things. So hopefully it continues to grow and evolve. So state, we have nice, pretty brackets. State this weekend is at the Corteva Coliseum at the fairgrounds. So it will be a great event. I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like there, because they are hosting Division II Nationals there.
Oh, really?
Yes. This year. I think it's called like the Division II Festival. So there's going to be lots of sports for Division II. So if you're a fan of wrestling, if you're a fan of, I think they're doing swimming in Indy, the bunch of sports will be doing their nationals all like that same week in March. So I totally had forgotten about that. So I was talking to IHSA guy about, the Coliseum and stuff, and, kind of neat to see that place. I've always kind of wanted to see if we could host Team State there. I thought that'd be a great place for Team State, because they have a couple auxiliary places you can put a bunch of mats in. I think it's a little pricier for what the Coach Association can handle and stuff. So,
yeah, no, I haven't been in that Coliseum since I think I was a little kid either.
Yeah, me too.
I think they probably had freestyle state there, I think, one year. And maybe, was it like that thing back in the day that they used to be called like the Hoosier State Games?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was hosted there too.
Was that in the Coliseum, or was that was always in the Hog Barns, right?
Or was that in the Hog Barns too? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if the Hoosier State guy, I don't know if they were in the Coliseum, but I remember all the freestyle state was in the Hog Barns. Those are some good old days. Actually, it wasn't bad, other than you couldn't hear the announcers. I just remember if you're in the middle, you could not hear anything. It was just wall, wall, wall. You could never find out where your mats are. And it's when you had 2 kids up, they were on definitely polar opposites of the building. So So we'll get into the brackets a little bit. 100 pounds. Madison Michaels Portage against Alexis Baumgartner Lafayette Jeff, number 3 and number 13. Then the other one is number 9 Bridget Martin from Mooresville and number 9 Anila Delgado of Perry Meridian. So you got 4 ranked girls. Didn't get separated very well there.
Nope. Your top one in that quarter bracket, definitely Madison Michaels of Portage. She's had a pretty solid season, some good wins. On there, it has her as 7-0, but that's not correct. I don't know what happened with some of the records when it came to the state tournament. Some were entered as like 0-0. Others had their whole season. But I think her only loss on the year is to number 1, Ella Niebart of Indian Creek. She's had a pretty good season. Anaya Delgado, lately she's been kind of on fire. She's had a couple big wins. She's wrestling really well. Martin, tough freshman from Mooresville, who has a pretty solid team this year. So, a good quarter bracket right there.
Yeah. Then the next quarter bracket, Shelby Light Gable of Riverton Park, Jacqueline Mallory from Lowell, Katie Rollis from Jay County, and Mariah Pope from Bloomington South. And 3 of those names, I believe they had brothers wrestling, if I'm not mistaken. They're fairly familiar with those schools.
Yep. I think the surprise of this quarter bracket is definitely that Shelby Light Gable from Riverton Park. These past couple of weeks at sectional and regional, I really didn't have much information on her, but she's kind of came out of nowhere. A couple weeks ago, she knocked off a ranked girl at sectional, and then I believe last week in the ticket round, she knocked off undefeated Sydney Stoller of Tri-County. Or no, not in the ticket round, in the semis. So she's wrestling really well right now. I'm kind of looking forward to see kind of how she does Friday in this tournament.
Yeah. Were there a lot of girls that you saw that kind of came out of nowhere like that, or?
A little bit. It's been kind of tough with these rankings, especially this year with there being so many new girls. A lot of the ones that are on there are definitely girls that have been around the past couple of years, that have placed at state and stuff like that. So some of the new ones and getting into the rankings, there's been some it's been easier to find because I can find the results. But a lot of it has also been just I'm not getting results of some of these girls. So I don't know of them until I actually see a result on a tournament or something like that. Or maybe I do see them at a tournament, but there's no one really ranked at that tournament, so in my head, I'm not going to really think anything of it until I see that girl actually beat someone that's ranked.
Yeah. That's the hardest part, is trying to see, especially people that don't see ranked kids or have someone to measure them against. And that's the fun. And especially with girls, there's a lot of pins. The new scoring system, we've talked about it with Mike a little bit, that an 8-1 match might not be that much of a difference. That might have been, it could have been easily 3-1, and you try a throw and go to your back and give up 5 real quick. So it's it's one of those things that can make things very difficult. So bottom half of the bracket, number 1, Ella Nybert from Indian Creek, and she'll face off with Violet Roel from Greenwood, Megan Thomas of Maryville, and Emma Ellis of Terre Haute North. I know one of the things we were talking about beforehand, also the team race, Maryville has had a little bit of a lead with the power pole pretty much most of the year. So it's going to be interesting, a very interesting team race. And they got a tough match right here that could help them out tremendously.
Yeah. So for this one right here for Maryville, you know, that's a big match, first round, you know, for this team race. I kind of went through, you know, myself kind of going through brackets and looking at stuff, and, you know, without using bonus points, advancement points, you know, I see 5 teams within 6 points of each other, just kind of going through the brackets. So, you know, it's going to be a good race. It's going to come down to bonus points. It's going to come down to, you know, getting wins that you need to win, or pulling off an upset, or making sure you don't get upset, you know, in this team race. But one thing I want to point out, that Violet Roel, she was actually an alternate at regional.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she came in, she knocked off a 1 seed from sectional, and then was able to win her ticket round match to get to state.
Nice. Good way to make your way to state there. So the bottom half or bottom quarter, Claire May of Roncalli, Tanika Ditz of Columbus East, Diana Hernandez of Hammond Central, and Sydney Stoller from Tri-County. You got two wrestlers with 1 loss that could potentially meet. I'd like to say the Saturday morning. I'm so used to seeing the quarterfinals or Saturday morning, but this will just be Friday mid-morning.
Yeah. So, you know, right off the bat for a quarterfinals, you know, that's your first real big quarterfinal match with May and Stoller. May, her only loss this year is to Niebert, and that's the same with Niebert. Her only loss is to May. You know, so that right there is your potential semifinal round match with those two, and probably, you know, and could almost be a state finals match there in the semis, with those two.
Yeah. So it should be good. That bottom half of the bracket definitely loaded with a lot of good wrestlers, and there could be some fireworks down there. So 105. Okay, good. Caitlin Foudy, Whiteland. Man, almost 40 matches. Most likely about 40 matches. That's pretty impressive. It's neat to see that these girls are getting a good number of matches. Lorana Dillon of Benton Central, Jayla Powers of Crown Point, and Rihanna Benson of Warren Central. Did you ever get a Warren Central Crown Point rivalry first round match? That's always good to see. The bigger programs on the boys' side are also having some success with the girls too.
Yeah, you know, so the Benson girl, you know, she has 13 losses, but, you know, most of her losses have been to the girls that are, you know, ranked in the top 5. She has, you know, and some of the losses are multiple to them. You know, she has a couple losses to Foudy. I think she has about 3 losses to Duena Zelaya, who I believe missed weight at sectional. So end up not being in the tournament. So, you know, that Benson girl, you know, she's pretty solid. Caitlin Foudy of Whiteland having a great freshman year, 1 loss on the season. She's really tough, and she, you know, she's part of that freshman class from Whiteland. They have a great freshman class. I'm excited to see what these girls do these next few years.
Yeah, they've been up there in the team rankings and have a pretty solid team. So it's obviously there's a lot of young girls out there, and the depth is growing pretty quickly. Yeah, Benson, looking at her profile, she has lots of losses, but number 2, 3, number 2, number 3, number 11, number 1, number 10, number 3, number 2. So it's been a lot of she's wrestled a good amount of the tough girls, so that should be interesting to see how that goes. The next quarter bracket down, you got Kendall Moe, returning state champion, Scarlett Rudnick from Floyd Central, Irma Ramos of Cecina Memorial, and then Joanna Cantu of Hobart. So most probably the class of the field. I'm pretty positive. I'll say that.
Yeah, Mo, she's definitely the standout of this weight class. She's won state twice already. She also has national accolades, and she was just over in Europe this year wrestling too, right?
Yeah, I believe she went over there to wrestle, and she has a pretty nice resume.
Yeah, so she's definitely got it going on this year. Moving up from what used to be like 98 pounds, 100 pounds, up one weight class, but still definitely holding strong.
Yeah. So then Cantu, she was a fourth place finisher last year. So definitely not an easy route for her to get through, but it's also, I mean, you have to wrestle the matches for a reason, and should be a good quarter bracket there. Kenley Keffer of Daleville, number 2 ranked in the bottom, starting the bottom quarter. Jaden Eskew of Plymouth, Lillian Gerald from Rochester, and Kenna Kleinschmidt of North Posey. Both Keffer was runner-up last year to Mo, I believe. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And then Gerald was 4th 2 years ago.
Yeah, so pretty tough bracket right there. That Keffer girl, very solid, definitely a pinner. Gerald having a good season, a couple tough losses for her, but that I think she can bounce back from. And Kleinschmidt coming in with a solid 25-2 record. I think was she a placer or just a qualifier?
Who's that? Who are you saying there?
Kleinschmidt.
Kleinschmidt was 8th last year at 105. 8th.
Okay. Yeah. So, you got, just in that quarter bracket, you got, 3 girls with state experience right there.
Yeah, should be a good one. Going down, Grace Pingleton, Griffith, Carson Merritt of Shenandoah, Jessica Price of Shelbyville, and Sanaya Henderson of Lafayette Jefferson. So you got number 6 and 11.
Yep. Pinkleton is having a really good year. She had a solid season last year, but I've definitely seen a lot of improvement out of her from last year to this year, and she's sporting it with that 20-2 record.
So going down to 110. Oops. 110 pounds. You're going 5-pound increments. So it feels like you're not getting very far. And then all of a sudden, at 145, you only have a few more weight classes left. Elizabeth Dowdy from Indian Creek. She's pretty tough. I'm pretty positive. Well, she was 3rd last year, 2-time placer. Leah Shelton of Perry Meridian, Rebecca McGuire, Western, and then Reese Kasperzik of Lake Central. And so that could be a really good quarter bracket. Kasperzik was 8th last year, so you got a number 2 and 3 potentially.
Yep, good right there. Dowdy having another really solid season. Right there, Kasperzik, 4 losses, but I'm pretty sure they're probably almost all to the same person or multiple to them. Yeah, because she goes through, has to wrestle Joy Cantu through stuff. So, there's a few of her losses right there.
Yeah.
So, that right there could be a great quarterfinal match with those two being number 2 and 3.
Yeah. Next, you got 3 ranked girls: Monica Alvarado from North Central, Liliana Greenfield of Wrights, Annika Gradeless of Mishawaka, and Giselle Klein of Northside. So you got number 6, and I believe that is number 8 potentially there. Should be a good quarter there.
Yeah, Alvarado, much improved from last year. She's been having a really good year. Gradeless, daughter of Yancey Gradeless. who was a really good wrestler for Mishawaka. Now they're coaching. She's having a really good freshman year. Once I saw that name, I was like, yeah, I definitely knew that was one I was going to have to keep an eye on with that last name right there. So she's having a great freshman campaign so far. Nice to see one of the Fort Wayne schools poke one through with Giselle Klein right there representing Northside.
Yeah. Bottom half of the bracket, Joy Cantu. She's looking for the all-elusive title. She's been second, third, and fourth her first 3 years, and I know she's been looking forward to having girls as a sanctioned sport. And I know there are some girls that are still wrestling boys, and she was quick on the trigger to say, I'm going to wrestle girls. And so she's been doing real well this year. She has Catherine Emerson from Delphi, Anna Marie Schuler of Seymour, who was, I believe she's a previous 2-time qualifier, and Jaden Hughes of Frankton.
Yeah, so, with this, Cantu, she's definitely, probably, top dog of this weight class. The past 3 years, she's done nothing but battle on the boys' side, and she's done really well on the boys' side. When it's come to the girls' state tournament, she's had to deal with Juliana Ocampo or even Heather Crawl, two really great wrestlers. She's right there. She's really good. But one thing you don't want to really count out that Jaden Hughes. She kind of fell out of the rankings with a couple of her losses, but she's a good wrestler, and I think she kind of proved it last week. She knocked off someone that was ranked in the ticket round. I believe it was the Sordelet girl from Franklin Central that she knocked off, and then got through the semis and into the finals last weekend.
Nice. Set her up in a solid spot. Obviously, it's pretty good weight class. You can't you want to give yourself as best of chance as possible. So bottom quarter bracket has 4 ranked girls. You got number 16 Katie Fearnow, not a bad name. Number 15 Brittane Whitmer of Glenn, and then number 11 Tatiana Willis of Jay County, and number 4 Brooke Lynn Fuller of Whiteland.
Yep, another good little bracket. That Whitmer's coming in as a 4 seed, but she's really solid. Pretty good wrestler there from John Glenn. So that's a first round match to keep your eyes on with a 4 and a 1 seed right there.
So Fuller she's never qualified. I've seen that name before a lot.
Yeah, no, she was. I mean, last year I think I had her. She was ranked pretty high, and I think she got beat out before state. I think she had a pretty tough draw with someone last year.
Okay, just making sure. It's kind of, I know that name just sounds familiar. So yeah, we'll go down to 115. I'm so used to go boys weights. So Aaliyah Stevenson from Franklin against Kiwa Yu of Crown Point, Grace Sharp of Carmel, and Marissa Nicholas of Rossville. So you got number 2 and 3 into 15 in that quarter. So another good, obviously these are just like the boys brackets where you're getting a lot of these top 5 people in the quarter brackets, because the IHSA, they must go through there and just like, how can we make it the toughest bracket possible?
Yeah. Ayla Stevenson, solid year, 1 loss on the year. And that was to Elizabeth Dowdy, who's down at 110. And then you got the freshman from Rossville there, Nicholas. I believe they've already wrestled once this year. And Stevenson won by a major with that match. But the thing that, you know, what some may not have recognized, especially with the girls' rankings, they're constantly changing because a lot of these girls are, you know, they're exchanging wins and losses back and forth. You know, the top half ranked girls are trading wins and losses, and same with the bottom half. And then even the girls that you see on here that they're not ranked, at one point they probably were ranked during the season, or they've actually been on the watch list right there. Yeah. But they've just, even with that bottom half of the rankings, is just swapping back and forth with wins and losses with each other and girls that aren't ranked that are right there on the edge. You know, so in reality, you could almost push it out to a top 20 with, you know, some of these weight classes, and a lot, you know, they're closer than what the rankings show. Mm-hmm. So it's like, don't be surprised if you have like an 11 seed knock off a 4 seed or something like that.
Yeah.
Because it's probably, they may have already wrestled this year, and that may have already happened.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of it's kind of what have you done for me lately type, especially when there's so many girls, and there are a lot of tournaments, which can be easier, but also can be harder when you're like, oh yeah, she beat her. Oh wait, then she lost this girl. No, they don't win the matches. They'll just mess with your rankings just enough to have you scratch your head like, where do I put them?
Yep.
Because there's no good rhyme or reason. So the next quarter bracket, Delaney. Let me see if I can pronounce this name correctly. Kobecki of Rensselaer Central. Emily Pineda from Jasper. She is a late change due to an injury. Lily Quinn of North Miami won a team state champions. And Anna McCarty from Beach Grove. So you got a 6, 7, and 14. So you did pretty good getting the ranked girls here. I think you only missed 3, which is pretty darn good.
Yeah, for 115.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, let's see. I think one of the only ones that I had ranked that didn't make it was the Callie Bowler from North Putnam. I think at the time I had her ranked 10th, and she didn't get through.
Yeah.
So yeah, right there, the Kobecki, or however you say that last name, pretty solid right there. Anna McCarty of Beech Grove, pretty solid too. Pretty good year so far for her. Only was that 3 losses. Yeah, 1 to Stevenson, 1 to Nicholas, and another loss to Haley Corporal. So
yeah, that should be a good quarter. Going down the bottom half of bracket, Haley Corporal of Eastbrook, Reagan McGuire of Western, Marissa Schneider of East Noble, and Marley Woods of Whiteland. And if only Coach Reason could spell Schneider right. I know that is misspelled on the brackets, but not mine. I will make sure, because that one's, you learn when you're doing these brackets. I have a lot of links based on the way the names are spelled, and I'm like, that's not spelled correctly. It's not Schneider. So I fixed that, and now my brackets are correct, and the HSAs look bad because Reason can't spell.
The Haley Corporal, you know, what do I have her ranked 8th? You know, yeah. I may be a little low on her. I think she's a little more solid than what it may show with the rankings with her. And then the Marley Woods of Whiteland, she is actually having a really good tournament run. She knocked off at sectional, knocked off number 4 ranked Taylor Engelking of Columbus East, and she's just kept getting wins along the way. Got second last week at regionals, losing to Stevenson from Franklin. So that, you know, that right there, that's definitely helping with Whiteland, and if they can get one or two wins out of her, that'll definitely help them with the team race.
Yeah. Going down, got Isabel Campo from New Haven. She's pretty good. She's really good. Tazaria Phillips of Centerville. I did not know they still had more Phillips coming out of Centerville. I don't know what their phone book looks like, but it's probably very similar to the Decatur one with Bakers. So, I had to throw a little bit of a jab at the at Decatur. So, and then Chloe Nadelsky from North Mooresville and Gabriel Costello from Ileana Christian. So you got 4 ranked wrestlers, all 11 or lower.
Yep. Ocampo is definitely a standout. Returning state champion, undefeated. I don't think anyone's even really been close with her this year. So yeah, she's a standout for that weight class. And the thing is, she was trying to petition at the beginning of the year to be able to wrestle in the boys' side and not the girls. But since she wasn't in the boys' state tournament last year, they said no to her. But she's good enough to even be there competing with the boys too, just like her sister.
Definitely, she would have been. I mean, New Haven's pretty good. It would have been interesting if she was allowed to wrestle the boys, where she would fit in and everything, because they're pretty good in those weights down there. So 120. Starting off with Kayla Roel from Milan, Violet Gomez Hilario from Jennings County, Alexis Spalding of Columbia City, and Amelia Mitchell of Munster. So you got 6, 7, and 4. Another pretty loaded quarter bracket.
Yep, really good quarter bracket right there. To be honest, who knows who will come out of it? Because they're all about the same. It's been fun kind of seeing this freshman from Munster, Mitchell, this year, having a pretty good freshman year right there.
Yeah, that should be. I'm just seeing if any of them have wrestled, and it does not appear they have hit up. Yeah, they have not hit yet this year, so could be some, only 5, 6 losses between all of them. So it should be interesting. Michaela Perkins has beaten a couple of them, so she's the pretty good. Another freshman from Whiteland comes in undefeated, it appears. Olivia Lamis of Roncalli, Natalie Spidell of East Noble, and Zoe Pugh of Hamilton Heights. So got another, three ranked wrestlers, all within the top 8. So that's pretty good weight class there.
Yeah, Pugh, one of the top ones in this weight class. Losing last week to McLean from McCutcheon, and she gets the bad draw of having to see Perkins in the quarters. Michaela Perkins, she's the real deal. She is good. She is really good. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what she does with her 4 years of her high school career.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I mean, as I going through here, you can tell there's a lot of young girls that are going to be pretty good and starting their careers off on the right note. Going down, you got number 2, Angel Smith of Plymouth, Charlie Miles of Terre Haute South, Brenna Rubel of Jay County, and Vika Konovalenko. That's a good name. That one definitely, I'm going to vote. I want that one under the lights.
Yeah, that would definitely be a good one to hear from an announcer with that last name.
Yeah, so a little less crazy, but you still have a 2 and 9 here. and two young, again, some all sophomores or freshmen in this quarter.
Yep, and that Rubel girl from Jay County, I think she has a couple of significant wins of girls that they're not in the rankings right now, but at one point they were. So she's been right there on the edge of being ranked and not being ranked all season. Actually, I think I did have her probably ranked earlier in the year. I think down there low, somewhere between like 13 to 16.
Yeah. Now you feel bad for taking her out, right? The bottom quarter bracket, unranked Emily Golif of Angola, Alea McLean of Rochester. Why is that 1 and 4? Is that how they all are?
Yeah, they for some reason that's the only one that it did out of all the brackets. It put it like that, I think.
Okay, I was getting ready to say she was unranked in one regional, but I was looking at the nice, clean, easy the other brackets, and I'm like, no, she didn't win. So Aaliyah McLean of McCutcheon, only 2 losses on the year. Elena Montgomery of Marion, and she has Candace Williams of Mooresville. And Mooresville is one of those other teams that have a lot of girls there, so they're ones that have a pretty good dual team, but I don't know if they're going to be able to have the horses to win the team individual the way it's scored there. So it should be interesting to see and she's not in a bad spot. You got number 5 and 14.
Yep. Yeah, they the goal of girl, she's not bad. She has wins over ranked girls this year. She was ranked at one point this year, fell off just towards the end of the season, but it was one of those where it was, about 3 different girls just trading wins and losses back and forth. So at the time when it came down, she was, just out of it. But I think she kind of had to run through a gauntlet last week at regional. She knocked off, I believe, 2 ranked girls to get. I think she had to beat the Neal girl from Crown Point and then the Utley girl from Portage. So she had a really good week last week, even though she took 4th. That 120, pretty tough weight class.
Yep. Going down to 125. Top of the bracket there, you have Ava Strayer of Crown Point, really good freshman. Faith Hand of Bloomington South, Abby Gilbert of Hagerstown, and then Olivia Gibson of Logansport, ranked number 14.
Yeah, I'd say that Gilbert Gibson match should be a pretty good one. The Gilbert girl from Hagerstown in these past couple of weeks has been just knocking off ranked girls left and right. So she's wrestling really well right now. Gibson is having a pretty solid season. But when it comes to that quarter bracket, Ava Strayer, 35-0 freshman campaign. She's been ranked number 1 since the beginning of the season till now. So see if she can make that wire run.
Yeah, she's really good. She has a lot of national accolades too, so nothing to be ashamed of. She's going to be one of those freshmen that you continue to watch. Rachel Ramirez Sullivan, number 12. Caitlin Snyder of Knox. Faye Waithia of Columbia City, and then she's number 16. Then number 7, Hope Sentencey from Southport. So good quarter bracket right there.
Yeah, right now, Ramirez, she is wrestling really well right now. She's, came through, won regionals last week. Let's see who else she have to beat. Yeah, she beat Plummer from Columbus East last week. for regionals. She's wrestling really well right now. She could she could make a run, to the semis. She'll have to face Strayer, but I think she has a solid chance if she wants to be top 4.
Yeah. Bottom half bracket, you got McKenna McKee from Rochester, Liam Russell from Franklin Central, Christian Lewis of Prairie Heights, then Sage Plummer of Columbus East. So some pretty good matches there, and 3 ranked girls, and then Lewis is a returning state qualifier, so all of them are pretty good right there.
Yeah, that right there, that's a quarter bracket that I could see any 4 of them coming out of it. McKee had a really good weekend last week. I think she also had to beat 2 ranked girls to get to state. So kudos to her last week and winning regionals. That's a pretty good quarter bracket right there.
Yeah. Then going down, you got Amina Rushinaguko Taylor, Rush Unga, man, too long for me to pronounce. Warren Central. Thankfully, she's a senior. We don't have to announce her name. Definitely would be another one that we want to see under the lights. She has Madison Waltz from Carroll, Corey Hunnefield from Southridge. She'll have number 3, Elena Alvarez. So you have number 2 and number 3 in the state, potentially hitting in the quarters.
Yeah. So Ruzanukuko Taylor. Her only loss is to Michaela Perkins, who's down at 120 on the air. She's fun to watch. She's tough. She's good. Alvarez from Maryville. She was a move-in from Illinois. I believe she was a 5th place state placer last year in Illinois. So good quarter right there. And Alvarez, her 4 losses, I'm guessing 3, maybe all 4 are to Strayer of Crown Point. So very tough right there. And that's going to be a big match there in that quarterfinals for the team race. For Maryville, that right now that, being number 1 in the power pool and stuff. But she can definitely, if she doesn't pull that off, she'll still be able to probably bounce back to 5th.
Yeah. There's big points in that quarterfinal match, especially for the team race, because you guarantee top 4 placements, and it should be a good one. Going down, better change this bracket. 130, Jaden Madry of Beech Grove, Jocelyn Barnett of Attica. That should be a really good 4 versus 1. Claire Redwine of Switzerland County and Julianne Cantu of Maryville. So a pretty loaded quarter bracket.
Yeah, loaded bracket right there. Barnett took a couple losses last week. So a good 4 versus 1 right there. Julianne Cantu, freshman, I believe that's Joy's sister. She 5 losses, but I think almost all of them are to Benoit of Crown Point.
I believe it's Benoit, is what someone told us at one time. But yeah, that should be a good quarter bracket. Next quarter bracket, you have Lanessa Ocampo from New Haven, Samara Swanigan of Lawrence Central, Kylie Benoit of Crown Point, and Kaylin Foudy of Whiteland. That's another really good quarter bracket. I know it's weird seeing, because I know the Garrett girl down there is pretty good. It's weird seeing like New Haven and Garrett go totally different semi or regionals, which are kind of semi-states. Like some of these schools, the way it worked out, it's like, why isn't why isn't she number one? And I'm like, oh wait, it's not even close to. Don't even think of it the same way as you do the boys' side.
Yeah, because you had Garrett. They went to Goshen, and then you had New Haven go over to Rochester.
Yeah,
Last week.
and what? Because Rochester had like Columbia City, Carroll, a bunch of those. Pretty much a lot of the Carroll sectional, Carroll regional teams went there, except for like Garrett and a couple others. So it's very confusing, and it's I'll get used to it. It's just I gotta study it more and see it more.
Yeah. So that right there, that Foudy and Benoit match is, I'm gonna say, probably gonna be your biggest first round match with those two, and definitely Foudy has a good run, and then I believe last week, I think it may have been something to do with a stalling, or it was like something questionable towards the end. Ends up taking the loss against Whitted, and now she draws into the girl from Crown Point. So that Whiteland's hoping that she can pull through, because if she pulls through that match, that's gonna, I think, kind of definitely give Whiteland that push to possibly win it all.
Yeah, that could be that's a good quarter bracket where you can kind of bust it up a little bit and give yourself a good team boost there. So going down, you got Madison Whitted of Mooresville, number 4, number 14, Caroline Balika from Plymouth, number 15, Aurora Roberts of Greencastle, then number 8, June Wagner Gilbert of New Pal. So another good quarter bracket. See, oh man, did you only miss? Looks like only one girl was unranked here. That's not bad. They made the state, so another pretty good weight class there. So good quarter bracket with all 4 of the girls ranked there.
Yeah, Whitted having a good season. Wagner Gilbert, they're all having a good season. The Balika girl just kind of towards the end of the year broke into the rankings, had a couple wins over some ranked opponents to slide into those rankings. Roberts, she's been around for a few years now, right there on the cusp of placing, not placing. So yeah, that's a quarter bracket that almost anyone could come out of.
Yeah. So going down the last quarter bracket, Nevaeh Wilson of Garrett. She has Madison Mount of Columbus East, Paige Stiers of LaPel, and Lindsay Pugh of North Miami. I'm glad that only one of the Nevaeh Wilsons at that weight class made it to state this year, because
there was 2 Nevaeh Wilsons. This one from Garrett and one from Kokomo this year.
Yes, and I think they were in the same weight class, weren't they?
Maybe, or just a weight class difference.
Yeah.
The other one, she was either no lower than 120.
Yeah, they don't. It messes up all my links and everything. And I'm like, what? I thought she was ranked. Luckily I kind of knew a little bit. I'm like, she should be ranked, and then I'm like, oh, geez. So yeah. But, that's a fun one.
Wilson having a great year. Her one loss was to, I believe it was to Lanessa Ocampo.
Yes.
And it was a 1-point match, 7-6. But then Wilson bounced back, I believe, the next week and won by tech fall over Ocampo. So, Wilson, ranked number 1 at the weight class, has the win so far this year to prove it. She's beat a lot of these ranked girls.
Yeah. So 135. It's going to be a good 135 is going to be a really good weight class. Katie Vardaman from Homestead, returning runner-up. Helene Papadakis of Crown Point. Madison Schwartzentruber of Columbus East, and Madeline Thompson of Franklin Central.
Yep. Vardaman, returning state qualifier or state runner up. 2 losses on the year. I think both of those are to Gafar from Northwood. The Madeline Thompson of Franklin Central, unranked, but really solid. I've had her right there on the edge all year of being ranked and not being ranked, and she's having a good tournament run so far. So she could be dangerous and possibly cause Vardaman some issues in that quarterfinal.
Yeah, and going down is Vardaman's nemesis, Naima Gafar. I believe Gafar is 2-1 against her, so could have a semifinal that is a big rubber match. Amara Frieden of Northfield, Lena Lingo of Jay County, and Abigail Goodwin of Bloomington South. So you got 4 state-ranked wrestlers right there. It should be for Gafar to get through there. She's going to have a couple good tests.
Yeah, but she's just the couple times I've seen her wrestle this year. She's tough. She is just if she gets in on a double leg on you, you're done.
Yeah. Then the next quarter bracket, Kyla Johnson of Southport. She was a champ was it last year? The year before?
Year before.
Year before. She was 4th. Or no, she was 2 years ago. As a freshman, she was a champ. So she's Southport, 12-0. Madeline McCarty of Mount Vernon Posey. Kendi 9 of Wawasee, and Shelby Looper of Clinton Prairie. So 4 state-ranked wrestlers there too.
Yeah, so Kyla Johnson, she's coming off. She got hurt last year at the state finals, and then she was out. And I didn't even have her in the rankings most of the year because I didn't think she was going to be wrestling this year. I was told that she wasn't fully healed, she wasn't ready, and then all of a sudden I see her in a tournament. When I'm looking at results, I'm like, like what the heck, and see that, and she was up a little, and then I heard that she's going to end up going 135, and she's thrown into the mix. And she has a pretty good shot to get another run into the finals and be an opposite of Gafar and Vardaman. But she still has a tough side, especially with that other quarter bracket.
Yep. Undefeated Kalia Beauchamp of Jeffersonville, Maya Miller, Beech Grove, Taylor Martin of Delphi, and then number 4, Charisma Lawrence of Maryville. Maryville's girls, man, they got put in some tough spots there, so that's going to be some interesting quarterfinals for them.
Yeah, they're Maryville didn't get the best of luck with some of the draws for their girls, but that Lawrence girl, she's tough. I mean, 4 losses. And at least 2 of them are to Gafar, if not 3 of them. So yeah, she, very tough. One of the top girls from Maryville. And then that should be a good quarterfinal match with her and Beauchamp.
Yep, that'd be a rematch from last year's 3rd place match where Beauchamp won. So 140. So we have, where'd mine go? 140 top bracket. You got Maddie Marsh from Pendleton Heights, really tough sophomore. She has a lot of national accolades already, so that's gonna be returning champ. So should be a good favorite to win. You got Haley Horath of Penn, Ava Rowe of Western, and Aubrey Belzer of Franklin. So number 1 and number 4 and 12 in that quarter.
Yeah, so Maddie Marsh, returning state champ. Her history speaks for itself with her. I'm really looking forward to the Rowe Belser match. Rowe, she's not ranked, um, but she's been wrestling really, really tough, really well, winning a lot of tournaments. So I'm kind of interested to see her match with Belser.
And then Kaylee Smith of Mishawaka, number 6. Number 16, Julian Champ of New Pal. Number 13, Navia Holtgren of Mooresville. And then number 8, Hannah Maggard of Columbia City. Another really good loaded quarter bracket right there.
Good quarter bracket. Kaylee Smith, very tough, very good year. Hannah Maggard, she can be hit or miss. She can come out and she could pin the number 2 ranked girl, or she could get pinned by someone that might not be ranked. So it's been kind of hit or miss with her this year. But she's been around. She's a good wrestler there for Columbia City. So she could, if she's wrestling well, there's no reason she can't get to the semis.
Yeah. So Maggard's been there. This is her 3rd trip there. Smith, this is her 4th trip there. So should be some girls with some state experience. Then next bottom half, you got Aubrey Troutner from Huntington North, Serenity McFarland of Wrights, Honesty Lacey of Maryville, and Diana Myers of Franklin Central. That could be a very big match right there in the first round for team point scoring too.
Yeah, very big match right there with Lacey and Myers. Myers was it 4 losses on the year. Let's see, who are they?
Allen twice and Belser
she's lost to Allen twice, Belser, and then another loss, which was what happened last week.
Yep, that would have been
to Maddie Marsh. So
it's not a bad loss.
Yeah, not bad loss. 4 losses, but not a bad 4 losses. So you got a good match right there. Troutner, she had a great freshman season. She's having another good sophomore season. Very tough wrestler there for Huntington North.
Then the last quarter bracket, number 2, Ava Allen of Silver Creek, undefeated. Cheyenne Shelton of Cherubusco, Shamaya Long of Warren Central, then Carly Mann of Valpo. So you got Allen. She was a runner-up and 1st in her career so far. So she's gonna look to make the finals again.
Yeah, she's one of those. She's fun to watch. She's a strong girl. And I'm trying to think. Did her and Marsh they wrestle last year in the finals? Was Allen 2nd last year?
Yes, 2nd at 140, and Marsh would have been at 35. So no.
So no, then that wasn't. But so right there, that could be a good finals match if it happens with Marsh and Allen.
Yeah. So yeah, then let's see, where was Troutner was at 30. So a couple girls gained some weight there and moving up in weight classes. 145. I always like jump ahead. 40. I know it's up to 140, and then I'm like, is it 40 to 50? I'm still trying to get the girls' weight classes because we're talking about 144 in boys right now. We're not even halfway there. So Jasmine Camacho from Greenfield Central, Kaylee Minton of Bloomington South, Haley Kunz of North Montgomery, and Mackenzie Shoemaker of Bremen. So you got 3 top 6 wrestlers right there. That's going to be a pretty good quarter.
Yeah, that's one of those quarter brackets. You can throw them all in a bunch of dice into a thing and roll it out, and see who's going to come out on top. 3 very good wrestlers right there.
So yeah, Camacho was 6th last year. Let's see, Kunz and Shoemaker. Kunz was 4th last year. Shoemaker was 8th. So a lot of state experience there. Going down, number 3, Jaslyn Diaz-Avalos from Franklin. Number 15, Kenaya Alexander from Franklin Central. So Franklin Community and Franklin Central. Avaya Avoyna Widener of Wheeler and Aries Day of Clinton Park. So 3 state ranked wrestlers there.
Yep. Three ranked. And this Aviana Widner of Wheeler, she's had some really good wins these past couple weeks. I know her record's definitely not 3-1, but she's tough. She's definitely surprised me with some of her wins. So that, that right there, she could possibly get past Day right there in that first round. Diaz-Avalos from Franklin, just a tough wrestler all around.
Yeah. Then the bottom half of the bracket, probably the class of the field, Alexandra Bastaic from Highland, 2-time champ. Isabella Bailey of Hamilton Heights. Caitlin Dibberin of Beech Grove. Eden Knight, of Columbus East. So we got 1 and potentially number 7 in the quarters there.
Yeah, Bastaic, she definitely stands above the field. At 145, she's one of those that she's been around a while. She's won a lot of matches. She's done more than just wrestling here in Indiana. Knight having a really good season there for Columbus East. That's definitely someone that they need to get some points from to be in this team race.
And going down, you got freshman Jade Johnson of Western, number 2 in the state. Elaine Lines of East Noble, number 11. Addison Emberton of Whiteland. And Lena Prater of East Central. The girls are really challenging my name pronunciations.
Well, and then it doesn't help either when one weekend they have one last name and then another weekend they'll have a different last name. Like I don't get it. Yes. But that Jay Johnson, freshman out of Western, undefeated at 145. Anytime I see results or I see someone posting something on Facebook and has a picture of her, she's flexing. So a very strong freshman there at 145. It'd be nice to see how she does if she gets there to the semis with Bastaic. See how she competes with one of the top girls in the state.
Yeah, top state in the country. So 155. Now we make a big jump. Reagan Trainee of Garrett, Daniela Ramirez Zarate. That is correct also because I text Ed about that one. The brackets are wrong, so I'm right again. Bailey Trevioli of South Vermilion and Lily Bridges of Franklin Community. So a pretty good solid quarter right there.
Yeah, that should be a well, I mean, the Trevioli, I haven't seen really much on her this year, but she's there. She's at state, but if it goes the way I would think, and you have Trinarian Bridges there in the quarters, that should be a pretty good match right there.
Yeah. Then you got Evelyn Mosconi from Southport, senior. She is a 2-time champ, 1-time runner-up, and she was all the way up at 182. So she's lost. She's won 82, 82, 70, now 55. So that is not the typical route you usually see people take. So she's number 2 in the state, and she has Melody Vasquez of Highland first round, then Amberin Siddons of Mount Vernon Posey and Olivia Bode of New Haven. So that should be a good quarter bracket right there.
A good quarter bracket. Moscone, she's had a pretty good career. The Vasquez girl of Highland, pretty good freshman year. Highland has some pretty solid girls, some pretty and young ones too. And they're able to train with Bastaic in the room. So that they're looking good. They've definitely surprised me with some of their girls this year. And then you got Bodie from New Haven. She's been around, and she's one of those. It depends what day you're going to catch her on. She can have a day where, I could say, she can win 155. And then there can be another day. It's like, how did she just lose that to this girl? So she's definitely one that New Haven's going to need, especially since they don't have Juliana this year. If they still have a shot if they wrestle well to win state, but they're definitely going to have to get something out of Bodie.
Yeah, that should be an interesting quarter bracket there. Going down the next half bracket, Maylee Skinner of Madison, undefeated. Cubs, Jalen Guthrie of Twin Lakes, Samaya Taylor of Boone Grove, and Ella Harpold of Greenfield Central. Harpold was third 2 years ago. And then Skinner was a qualifier last year and fourth 2 years ago. So she's it's a couple girls with some experience there.
Yep. Skinner, a very good junior there from Madison. I think last year had a really bad draw for state. Harpold, she's been around, and this Taylor girl from Boone Grove having a good tournament run right now. So,
and then the bottom half of bottom quarter bracket, Ella Gall of Northfield, a really tough wrestler. She's fifth, first, third in her career, and she's gone from 120 to 155. So you have some girls going from 182 to 155, and one coming from 120. So should be
and there's a chance you could have those two girls meeting there in the finals. The one growing, the one shrinking.
Yes. So she will have Azul Castillo of Cardinal Ritter. Sophia Gropp of Westa will have number 8. Sophia Gropp of Westa will have number 9. Mariana Castro of Warsaw. So good quarter bracket just to get to the finals for her.
Yep. Gropp coming from the small school of Westdell, and I believe they have I think 2 girls that made it to state. Her teammate is at 170. So nice to see that school get a couple through.
Yeah, you've definitely seen a lot of different schools. I know I had it, but I don't have I know I saw how many different schools had girls represented. I don't think. Okay, yeah, it does have. How many different schools did I think we have? 100 and let's see. It's about 100, and I can figure this out real quick. Shoot, never mind. 100 and so let's see, 123. So a little bit more than the boys. Boys sometimes they're about around 100. So 123 different schools represented, which is pretty cool. So it's always neat to see the more and more schools represented at state.
Yeah, and that's what's been, nice with the girls' side of it. You see that Brett. I know exactly what you mean when she's warming up. Her face. I am scared too when I've seen that. But what's been nice is you see, especially with the power pool and the rankings. You see some of the schools that have good programs on the boys' side, but you're seeing a lot of these smaller schools too.
Mm-hmm.
Like Indian Creek. Indian Creek has been up there high in the power pools. Having girls like Niebuhr and Dowdy and some of these other smaller schools. They're getting girls through, and I think that's great. Being able to see some of these other schools get a little recognition.
Yep, definitely. So 170. I mean, I guess Brett gets intimidated easily. Um, so that's nothing to be ashamed of. Maybe she can double leg him. Maybe he'll volunteer to be her warm up partner. that'd be a real good thing. I definitely want to video that. So 170, Mallory Winner going for her 4th title. Jessica Martinez from Providence Cristo Rey, Lane Pepler of Rochester, and Amani Reed of Penn. So you have Jay County, Rochester, and Penn all in the same quarter bracket, which was they're not that far apart when you consider the whole state.
So. Yeah, it's kind of like we were talking before this. Looking at the Rochester regional, where you had Columbia City in it, and then you had Terre Haute.
Yeah,
teams from Terre Haute coming all the way up to Rochester.
Yeah. Rochester and Penn are in the same regional for boys.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out. But this 170 is one of those weight classes where you kind of know who's going to win it. Most likely Mallory Winner. But 2nd place to 8th place, you have no clue. They've all been trading wins and losses back and forth all year long. But some of these other girls, they do have the capability to beat Mallory Winner too. I think last week, I think she just had a 1-0 victory in a regional final. So 170 is going to be a really fun weight class to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. Grace McMahon in the next quarter bracket, number 2 from Columbus East. She has Sadie Tilden of Franklin Central. Jacinda Brown of Fairfield has Emerson Adkins of Tipton, whom David was saying that was his niece that is wrestling.
Yeah, so. Emerson, I've enjoyed seeing what she's been doing, especially here towards the end of the season. She just got into the rankings right there at the end of the season, and honestly, if I'd go back through right now, which I kind of messed around this week, taking girls out that lost and just messing around with the rankings and power poll and stuff and trying to figure out what's happening. I think Atkins is definitely someone that could be top 8 in this weight class. But if she wins that first match, she's going to face a tough McMahon from Columbus East, and that's Columbus East. That's their firepower. Those McMahon sisters up there, that gets them a lot of tournament points. Columbus East, they in these upper weights, they're really solid.
Yeah, they won the regional, Mooresville regional, right?
Yes. Yep.
So that's pretty good. So bottom half bracket, having Gardner of New Haven, number 4 in the state. She has number 7, Ivan Rescalvo of Goshen, and then number 13, Paisley Chambers of Westell, another Westell wrestler, and then number 10, Eleanor Robertson of Franklin Community. So real good quarter bracket with 4 state ranked wrestlers.
Yep, real good bracket right there. Another solid freshman there for Franklin. Heaven Gardner, she got hurt a couple weeks ago. I think she's kind of battling that injury still. But I hope she can be as fully healed as she can by Friday, because she's fun to watch. She's good. And she's definitely one of those girls in this weight class that if she's on it, no one could beat her. But it kind of stinks that she kind of got that injury here late in the year, and that's been bothering her.
Yeah. The last quarter bracket, another one filled with 4 ranked wrestlers: Kaya Long of Warsaw, Clara Gramlin of Lebanon, got 9-5. The 5 is actually got 4th out of Rochester. Paige Nicodemus, or what was it? Paige Long is.
It was Paige Cook.
Cook.
Until all of a sudden it was Paige Nicodemus.
Okay. So Boonville, that through. Thank you for telling me that, so I didn't create a different profile. Someone else, and then Lydia Kuala from Perry Meridian. So real good quarter bracket.
Yeah, that's a quarter bracket. Any 4 of them could come out. Clara Gramlin, she's tough. She had just a really tough weight class last week. I mean, if you look at the top 4, you had Heaven Gardner winning, the Atkins girl from Tipton getting 2nd, Lane Pepler 3rd, and she's the 4th place finisher out of that tournament. So that it's a bad draw for Kaya Long of Warsaw, but Kaya Long's also had some good wins this year over highly ranked girls. That's one of those weight classes where they, top to bottom, they've just been trading wins and losses. Nicodemus, 1 loss on the year. She's having another great year. Qualia of Perry Meridian, she's definitely wrestling a lot better right now than the beginning of the season. Beginning of the season, she had some good wins, but she also had a couple losses that you're like, but she's turned it around. She's avenged a lot of some of those losses and stuff, and she's wrestling really well right now.
Okay, going down to second to last weight class, 190 pounds. Trista Powers of Terre Haute South. They went via Rochester Regional, which is still, that's a long drive. So she has Maisley Pendleton of Owen Valley, Stacia Crabtree, number 2 in the state, Rensselaer Central. She'll have Zoe Gray of Triton Central.
Yep. So, probably a really good quarterfinal match right there with Powers and Crabtree. Crabtree having a really good season. Lost last week to Janiah Howard of South Bend Riley at regionals. But yeah, Crabtree's also had some pretty good wins this year too. So that should be a fun match if that happens for the quarters with Powers and Crabtree.
Yeah. Then you got another good quarter bracket. Monica McMahon, as you said, the Columbus East has some good upper weights, undefeated.
And they got a brother, right, too, in the upper weights.
Yes.
So,
man, that food bill. That's all I think of when I see like brothers and like family members all like in the upper weights, like that food bill. Just like the Struck brothers. I was like, man, you guys, how much have you fed these kids? She has Liberty Quesada of Lafayette Jeff, number 13, Jaleese Taylor of North Central. She'll have Naomi Ario of Lakeland. So should be a good quarter bracket there. McMahon obviously coming in undefeated and number 1 in the state.
Yep. She's definitely a standout in this bracket and this weight class. Arroyo, she's also one of those girls that has been ranked this year too. So you can't count her out there against Taylor.
Then starting the bottom half of the bracket, Jasmine Hollins-Rollis of Rowie of Warren Central, Aubrey Miller Ramirez of Griffith, number 9, Briley Blackwell of Mooresville, and then number 11, Mackenzie Conklin of Harrison West Lafayette. So some good matchups there with 3 ranked wrestlers.
Yeah, Hollins Rowie, really good season. She's very tough. there at 190 for Warren Central. Blackwell and Conklin, they have wrestled each other this year. I believe Blackwell got the win with that. Actually, a very fast pin in 26 seconds. So that could be different than this time. It could have been who knows. A quick headlock or something like that. So that could be a pretty good match right there with those two.
And then the bottom quarter bracket could be pretty tough. Janiah Howard of South Bend Riley, Sophia Jones of Franklin Central, then Michelle Clifford, number 3 of Columbia City, and then Grace Marshall of Tri West. Clifford was 8th last year. Marshall did not place, and then Howard was a qualifier last year too.
Yeah. So Howard coming off a big win last week over Crabtree Regionals. Clifford, Columbia City. She's been around a while now. A few losses, but still a lot of wins. She's one of those two. If it's her day, Clifford, if it's her day, she could win the weight class. It depends who's going to show up on Friday.
Yep. That long drive to Indy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 235, the heaviest weight. Starting out with a little bit of a surprise regional champ, Lily Clark of Elkhart, kind of coming on late. She has number 13, Madison Schrader of Columbus East, and number 12, Keely Allen of Greenfield Central. She'll have a tough senior, Briella Humphreys, who took her first loss last week.
Yeah, so Clark comes in as a regional champ. If you look, I think for the rankings for this weight class, I think I only had one girl out of that regional that I had ranked, and it was the girl from Hobart, and she ended up taking 4th at regional because it was one of those things that was, I'm seeing results for these girls, but I never saw any wins over ranked girls. So it's, how can I, throw them in to the rankings? But yeah, you got Humphreys, just took her first loss last week to number 1, Bukawiak of Attica. Humphreys, she's been around. She's a solid wrestler there for Kokomo.
Yeah. Going down, you got Dharma Aguilar, Tennessee of Seymour, Lena Regaza of Hobart, and then number 3, Erin Cobble of Harrison, and number 8, Michelle Dubard of Lawrence North. So some good matches there with all ranked wrestlers.
Yeah, this is a pretty good quarter bracket there. That the freshman out of Seymour, really good season so far. And I think if I look, 4 losses, but I think 2 of them are to Bartkowiak of Attica. So seeing, especially seeing, some of these in here, you got 1, 2, 3 freshmen qualifying for state at this weight class. So it's going to be nice to see what some of these girls do these next couple years.
Yeah. As Blaine said, that the Columbia City Thanksgiving Classic, Culp Classic, all 14 are at state, all their champs, and 11 were regional champs. So that's pretty impressive little tournament there. So I think that'll continue to do pretty well for them. So bottom half of the bracket, and let me bring that up. Rachel Adolphi of number 4, Rachel Adolphi of North Central, Deza Maggie of New Haven, Kaylin Graves of East Noble against number 14 Brooklyn Niece of Madison.
I just want to know: is there something in the water for North Central and just putting out like heavyweight wrestlers? They've always had real solid ones on the boys' side in the past.
Yeah.
And now you have this freshman coming in, and she is tough. Her only loss is to the number one girl in the state. But yeah, she's an animal for a freshman.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive for a freshman to be at a heavyweight class. I don't care whether it's girls or boys, with only one loss. The bottom half of the bracket, number 1, Aubrey Bartkowiak. I can't even, whatever. I'm not good with syllables or phonics.
Or the English language.
Or the English language, yes. Sometimes I'm really bad at the English language. She will have Jaylee Holler of Franklin Central, and then number 7, Bressa Cohen of Jennings County, and she'll have Chloe Oxler of West Central.
Yeah, so yeah, Barkowiak, I think she's pretty much been ranked number 1 pretty much almost all year. I think at one point she may have dropped out probably after that loss, and then avenged that loss, I think, the next week to go back to number 1. Bressa Cohen, she's been around a while, so 6 losses by her, but a couple of those were to Monica McMahon, who's down at 190 for Columbus East. So that right there, it should be a good quarterfinal match, but it should be probably Barkowiak coming through this weight class if she keeps wrestling how she has all year.
Yeah, should be a good weight class overall. Let's go back to this. Here we go. North Central. Yes, they had the North Central was the one with the mustache there, Blaine.
Yep.
So it should be pretty interesting. What are you kind of looking forward to this week?
I just think in general, I'm just looking forward to the team race. You got Maryville, Whiteland, Franklin, Columbus East, New Haven, all right there. Jay County, that Jay County, even though they lost, a couple girls last week at regionals, which kind of hurt them for the team race for regionals and this week, they still got some good firepower to place high if they want. Mooresville and Franklin Central, they have a lot of girls there. They're individually ranked, they're not high, but dual wise, they're still 2 solid teams with Franklin Central and Mooresville. And Warren Central is another team that if things go right for them, they could place pretty high. They got a couple girls that, right now you're looking at maybe getting second in the tournament, but there are also 2 girls that could also win their weight class. So, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun for the first IHSAA state title to see what team wins. Was that close though? Barkowiak?
Can we get phonetically tell us how we pronounce it? So then I have a even worse reason for mispronouncing it.
Yeah, so I'd say that's probably what I'm looking forward to, just the team race, and hopefully, these girls kind of understand, or at least hopefully the coaches let them know what's going on through the day and what needs to be done and stuff like that. And, to help keep everyone pumped for the team race and to have some excitement down there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
It should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing what um, seeing seeing how everything works out, and uh, the venue. See, there's a lot of things that's new, and I know that HSA is going to do everything or do things right and make it a big event for the girls, and enjoy the moment. Enjoy it. It's the first one. Can never say, it's never going to be the first one again. So enjoy it. And, the parade's probably going to be really cool. And I hope that, I hope the stands are filled with a lot of fans. And I know they get loud at the girls' meets, a lot louder than boys. So it should be pretty cool. And hopefully a lot of schools are bringing down a lot of kids and to watch their girls wrestle. It's going to be pretty neat to see from a fan's point of view. And, hopefully the girls are excited to do something the first time ever. And they've been waiting way too long for this opportunity and take advantage of it. So,
yep. Enjoy it. I mean, these past few years, there's been so much work behind the scenes to get where we are now. And, let's take advantage of it. Let's let the state of Indiana know they did the right thing by sanctioning this sport.
Yeah. It should be, it's going to be a lot of fun, and, it's going to be pretty cool to see. And finally, as I said, we've been waiting for this day and seeing all the other states do it. And then I will say that ours will probably be one of the better productions. I haven't seen very many of them, but I can guarantee that the production they're going to put on is going to be first class. And I just say takes a lot of pride in the way they present their state finals. They wanted to make sure it's a good venue. It's not, that last few years at Kokomo or in Mooresville, it was tough. They did it. They did it well. But the HSA doesn't want to have a state finals for something like this in a local high school. They want to have it in in an arena. And I think this is a great choice for it. And I think it's going to be it's going to be kind of like our Coliseum and stuff. It's going to be tight. It's going to be, people are going to be able to hear each other. It's going to get loud. So I'm really excited to see how things go, and definitely, enjoy the moment more than anything. That's my biggest advice is enjoy it. And, it's going to be a fun day of wrestling.
Yep. I'm excited to watch.
Yeah. So anything else you want to talk about? Any rants or raves? Snow or mowing grass or anything kind of people not replacing their divots. Let's see if I can poke the right button of not replacing your divots or
Nope, I'm at that point right now where it's winter and I don't really have to worry about the golf course. It's more of my relaxing time right now. My winters are literally spent at the computer just going over wrestling stuff.
That's the way it should be, right?
How it should be. So this year it's been a little sadder because I haven't been able to be back and be as many events coaching this year. But I'm still happy that I'm involved the way I am with Indiana wrestling. So,
yeah,
we'll take it as it is, and I'll keep doing this as long as I can until some other people start getting a little more knowledge and really paying attention to the girls, like I have the past few years. Which it's because I had a couple girls I was coaching, and I saw what they were doing. And how much work they were putting in and seeing it through the rest of the state, So when I came up, a few years ago to you and was like, hey, can I do rankings for girls? And you're like, yeah, let's do this. And it's grown. It's went from, at first, it was hard to even figure out 10 girls to rank for a weight class. And
Yeah.
now I'm ranking 16 girls, and I have even more written down for those weight classes of girls that are kind of on my watch list. So,
Yep.
the sport's growing. We got a lot of talent, and it's just going to keep getting better, especially in a place that we have, wrestlers like Sarah and, Kayla Miracle to look up to for these girls. With them being from Indiana, it's only going to do good things here.
Yeah, I'm excited, and like you said, there. I remember some of the weights. I'd look at it like you're like 6 girls ranked here. Like okay, we'll run them, I guess. And
It's
then
the only
some of the
six
weights
I
you had
know.
12, some you had 16, and now it's that's, and we could always expand it to 20. I have no problem if it's in that case to expand the rankings and more people get recognition, and then that usually leads to more results and more nice emails. Uh, are we going to do a show for next week? I can't guarantee it, but I can't say yes or no. I guess we could maybe possibly do a recap show. Just depends. I know Tuesday we're not doing one Monday because of some football game. So we're gonna do the boys one Tuesday. So maybe we'll get together and do another one to recap state and stuff. So look forward to it. Check just have your notifications on because we like to go live random times. So should be good. But also, if I would definitely be interested in doing semi or regional, I want to say semi-state all the time rankings. So if next year for girls, I know that would be a lot of work for one person. So if some people are interested in possibly taking over some regionals that kind of know a little bit more of those areas and a little bit more intricate knowledge, I think that's what's helping the boys is that the regional rankers do talk to each other, and Michael will ask Howie, like, why do you have so-and-so over this guy? And he'll be like, well, he beat him here. It's like, oh, I didn't know that. So there's a lot of times they bounce information off each other, and it's always good to have people a little more zeroed in on certain areas. So if you guys are interested, reach out to me or Brandon, and we will check out your resume, do background checks and everything, and see if you guys are interested. If anyone's interested, definitely there's lots of gear in there and maybe some other perks to being on the staff of IndianaMat. So if you guys are
kind of looking to was Angie, just kind of wondering who else was going to be at this girls team state. So what they did is they're taking the 16 teams at one sectional and inviting them to do a team state duels thing next week. From what I know, Garrett turned down the invitation. So the second place team is, I believe, hopping in for that. And also Penn, I don't know if they declined or last I knew just didn't respond. So they're out. And so then it would have been Plymouth, but Plymouth declined and Wawassee's in. Okay. So you're looking at your 16 sectional team champions pretty much for the team state duels. As far as in the future, what happens with it, I'm not totally sure. Maybe it'll kind of be changed on how they end up doing the invitation for it, or maybe choosing teams from the team regionals instead of the sectionals. But it's a good start, and it's another week for some girls to be able to wrestle, and their season not be over yet. So,
yeah, and I think the HSA was talking a little bit about it, so it'd be interesting to see if they would entertain that kind of idea. But good to see a team state tournament for the girls and a bracket. I know the duels are starting to get better and better, and that's gonna be pretty cool. So they're gonna hopefully possibly seed. I don't know what they're doing. Seed the we don't know. We just got information this week, and I know some coaches were thankful that all of a sudden some information popped up in their emails. So hopefully everything goes on without a hitch, and it's a great event, and definitely cool to crown a dual state champion. and that one will be fun because that is going to be the dual mates are wild as is, but the girls are going to be even crazier because there's going to be you can shift your lineups and do some fun things with that, and especially some of the teams with some studs in there. So with that, we're going to get out of here. I'll be back Tuesday. Maybe Brandon and I will be back if he's not mowing lawns or anything.
I ain't going nowhere.
So, and we'll recap and then maybe do a preview. Hopefully, the bracket will be out for Team State. So everyone, all the girls, good luck this weekend or this Friday. I want to say weekend. It just to me, it's the weekend. So it should be some great wrestling, and enjoy watching all the results. Thank you guys.
See ya.